When we start to explore the club movement in swing, often using those kind of club kinetics, for those that are very familiar, say for example, with almost the club forces, so the couples, those rotational torques being produced, and the kind of forces around the club, using, as we see here, those 3D values on screen, what we can often start to see in the most established players and the most advanced movers, the high performance players, is as the kind of club moves in downswing, how the line of force, so this is the net force around the centre mass of the club. So kind of crudely speaking, we kind of balance the club around about here. That would be that somewhat kind of crude and coarse definition of where the centre mass of the club would be the balance point, loosely speaking, in many ways in swing. So often way to ensure then that how well we can align the net force. So the net of all the forces, the kind of force moving the club this way, the force moving the club this way, and the force moving the club this way, that kind of three-dimensional force. A way of then really ensuring that you really start to both apply those forces in the most helpful and usable way in swing. As we move into downswing, shaft parallel and downswing, the club is also pointing directly at the target. So once again, we can use those kind of 3D values on the screen, that long kind of blue line we see on screen, that long blue, they're called vectors that come at the centre mass, that long blue line you will see here, as we move them down is exactly shaft parallel. The line of force is pointing, once again now shown by that kind of line on the screen, that line of force is pointing towards the target. So a really nice way of playing with this. So for example, if you're someone, say almost in that somewhat kind of colloquial, kind of coarse definition, releases the club very early in transition, when the shaft is parallel, you'll now see by that line on screen, how it's almost pointing more up towards that kind of rib cage, into that kind of belly area in downswing. Equally so, if you're someone that almost kind of gets very narrow and kind of pause on the handle in transition, you'll see now once again when that kind of the hands almost kind of loosely speaking, once again what would be almost aligned with then kind of shaft parallel position, that line is shown on screen as I'm pointing very much down in towards the floor. So using that kind of reference to really encourage in that much more kind of two-dimensional, kind of somewhat kind of playful way to really ensure how well we align the forces being produced through the club, is that when the shaft is parallel and downswing, it also points exactly towards the target. Once again now, as shown by that line on screen, be a really nice way of then encouraging and certainly then allowing then the forces around the club to be best positioned and best aligned to then be used and then applied into impact.